I present you a Moritz Mansfeld painting, a painter who was born in the 19th century in Vienna, Austria. This painting is a still life that was painted over a oak panel using oil painting. We can see that there is a heavy grime layer on it because we barely can see the beautiful details this painter used to paint in his works. So, a serious cleaning is going to be needed. But not only this painting is beautiful, but also its original frame is also very beautiful. Of course, that as we can see, it is in a very, very bad condition. A lot of pieces are missing, a lot of them are broken, and we can see and tell that this is a real gold leaf gilding. Those frames used to be full of Baroque ornaments, and the gold leaf gilding was applied with the intention to bring even more light to the painting. It is full of beautiful details, and it will be a quite interesting challenge to put it together again. So, come with me and watch the steps of conserving this Moritz Mansfeld still life. Taking in my hands this beautiful piece makes me think about what time and oxidation can make to the things, even to us. But that I'm gonna leave for another video. Well, of course, this painting is from 1883, so it's not new, but we can tell by the state of his original frame that not a lot of care was taken concerning the place where it was all those years. Although we know that materials change with time, temperature, and light. So, those are all factors that may influence the state of this painting and the way it arrives to me. I already made a study of its state, and the first I need to do is to disassemble it. So I start by taking out all those nails that someone used in the past. Definitely not a good system. With them out, I can finally release the panel and I have a complete look on it. I have to be very careful in the way I take it out, and I realize that there are a lot of dirt and grime on it, but if I look through it, I can almost guess that there is a beautiful painting and beautiful colors under it. I take the nails totally out because they belong to the past, and in the end, I intend to apply another system to hold it to the frame. And finally, with the nails out, I take another look to the frame, and I really think that is a beautiful marriage, this frame with that painting, because they are both beautiful. But I believe and I see that this frame it's gonna be a challenge. And here is the panel that we see that this thick layer of dirt doesn't let us to admire the beauty that is under it. But this still life is about to get alive again. And for the cleaning process, I will need my solvents, my neutralizer, and a special cleaning wax. I will clean the grime in the first place, and this grime is heavy, huh? And after it will be easier to access to the varnish. Using the cleaning wax, I see how the grime reacts to it, and I do it in different places in the panel. And it's quite obvious that when the grime is out, we can see already a quite dramatic difference. And this is an action that can take a lot of time, especially in this case, because there is a lot of grime. But once this grime is out, we are going to be able to see a little bit more of all the details that the artist did paint. In this situation, I will start by cleaning the background, which is a solid color, and only after I will pass to other parts in the panel that do have more detail. This wax that I use does have several components, and one of them is ammoniac, and this component is very effective when concerns to remove dirt and grime. So it is a very efficient product. And because the process of removing the grime is long, I'm going to speed up the video. I'm going to let you enjoy the progression of the cleaning with some music. Enjoy. And now that we have a clean panel, we both two, me and you that are on that side, we both are able to see how talented this Moritz Mansfeld was in the way he painted. And with the help of my magnifying glass, I can identify two small flaws in the wood of the panel, and to put them at the same level as the rest of the surface of the panel, I am going to use several layers of a reversible gesso that I do apply with a little brush. I will apply several layers of these materials so I reach the necessary level until I have all the surface in an equivalent flatness. This gesso is water-based, and as all the products I use, it is reversible. After it is dry, I can remove with a swab and some distilled water any excess of material, so I end up with gesso just where it is needed. And this action also helps to level any excess of gesso if there is any. The next step that must be done is the varnish that goes between the panel and my retouching. For this, I normally use a resin that I do prepare myself with a specific percentage of solvent. But I could be using several different kinds of varnish as long as they are reversible. This layer of varnish in between is important because it will separate my retouching from the original painting. Also, the varnish will give more saturation to the colors. They will appear more bright and more deep, so that helps me to get the best color or pigment when I'm doing the retouching in a specific area. Now comes one of my favorite parts in the conservation process, that is the retouching. I prepare my solvents and varnish. I choose which of my brushes are the most appropriate, and I also choose my color palette. I have different color palettes which I used in previous work, and here I already have a lot of mixed colors, so with the help of some solvent I can reactivate them and use them in this work again. There are not big retouching areas to be done in this panel, so I will only cover the places where I did have to apply the gesso. Those are parts where the wood of the panel was broken and it was missing. The remaining paint on the panel is well and does not need my intervention. As you can see, my retouching is done in dots, layer after layer, until I reach the result that I want. Sometimes I do use very transparent pigment. That means that I do have to apply a lot of layers. This artist did born in Vienna, Austria in 1850 and he died in 1890. So unfortunately, he died quite young with only 40 years old. But Moritz did left us beautiful work, and still lives were his motive of passion to paint. Most of his paintings are very similar to this one, not only in scale or size, but also in the model he chooses to paint. Very often, we can find in his paintings cherries and other fruits, porcelains, and other daily artifacts, including newspapers and letters that he insists on leaving on a table. But this artist was so very elegant and virtuous on the way he painted the detail that this work that I'm restoring now, it's not big. So there are a lot of other details that I can only see with the help of my magnifying glass. And I can see that a pillow is painted on the background and the fabric pattern is painted so perfectly that only someone with a lot of talent could do it so small. Once the retouching done, I allow it to dry well and I apply the final varnish. In this case, I choose a medium gloss varnish, so I apply a mix of 50% of matte varnish and 50% of gloss. The varnish must be applied carefully and in several directions, so only a thin layer remains. For this last step, I do prefer to use a varnish based on synthetic resin that I can add some tinuvin in order to protect from the UV light. This varnish will bring a protection to the restoring I did and also a deepness and a slightly shining that honors the perfection and beauty of this panel. In this first part, you have joined me in the restoration of this still life by Moritz Mansfeld. In the second part, you will watch me restoring the golden leaf frame. So, subscribe the channel and activate the bell so you can know when I do post my next video. Leave your like and your comment, and until then, I see you on the next video.